Toybiz here, and I am back yet again to give you guys another Retro Shiz look back at the past. And today, we are totally checking out the 1997 Spider-Man, the animated series. This is the Web Force wave, a very interesting wave, or how I like to call it. I only purchased Daredevil from this wave. The other ones just didn't appeal to me. It was weird. It wasn't anything from the cartoon, minus Daredevil, because Daredevil appeared in Sins of the Fathers story arc, right? So in that sense, I was like, yeah, I already have a lizard. Why do I need another lizard? Well, that was the old way of thinking, right? But I distinctly remember seeing these in the pages of Toy Fair magazine or Wizards, one of those two, and going, what the heck is that? It Copter Spider-Man? What does that have to do? So it's nice to have these now. Being a kid and not really getting it, but nowadays going back, going, okay, I can totally see where they were coming from. So this is going to be fun. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look back at the 1997 Spider-Man, the animated series Web Force Wave by Toybiz.
And while I got you guys here, I just want to say thanks so much for checking out my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. And if you're a big fan of, let's say, retro action figures, Toybiz, things of that nature, I think you're going to like it around here. I also do daily news updates, especially over my Instagram, pre-orders, all that jazz. So be sure to check it out, do the whole liking and whatever else. Anyways, let's talk about this. So to start things off, we have the Web Commando Spidey. If Spider-Man hypothetically ever needed to take to the skies and do battle with any airborne villain like the Vulture, well, he's set apparently with his web copter thingamajig. The back of the packaging shows that it's supposed to have an actual copter. The figure itself is supposed to have a helmet and a little belt piece. Unfortunately, I got these secondhand. I don't have those pieces. Yes, I do have plans to go back and eventually find these, even if I have to buy the entirety again. Who knows? But it does make mention in the bio of the Vulture. And this wave only has 4 figures. Typically, the waves would have 5. Apparently, take this with a grain of salt, because there's talks of it here and there, the Vulture was supposed to be in this wave, but was then moved to the later Bugbusters, which we have taken a look at already. Missing pieces aside, though, this is an interesting looking Spider-Man. If he's ever appeared in the comics in such a fashion before, let's say, later comics with the different Earths, the Spider, let me know in the comments below. He looks like he would be from something, but on the other hand, he does look like a completely new creation. He is incredibly pre-posed, unfortunately. He has like one leg longer than the other, and it's tiresome to try and stand this guy. He's got heads, he's got rotation and ball joints in the shoulders, single-jointed knees, single-jointed elbows, and he does have some waist rotation, just to throw that in and kind of make it just ever more difficult to stand him. His webcopter is nicely designed. It's got a big red spider on the front, so you know it's for Spider-Man. He's got a ripcord pull thing that if you put the blade copter on top, pull that thing, and it'll launch right off. He does wear this suit. Yeah, take his little vest thing off. Keep the boots, though. You got to keep the boots on. Everyone's kind of laughing at this one. Not my favorite, not the best design, in terms of achieving a good look for Spider-Man, but to this day, looking at it now, yeah, it's awesome. Now, heading down to the swamps in Florida, we have the Spider Smash Lizard, and this one kind of sort of harkens to a tale of Spider-Man going after the lizard, so to speak. We'll just say very loosely based upon, but you get a really nice looking lizard figure. Totally just a torn up trench coat, wild lizard action, I have to say. In terms of the articulation on this guy, his head will rotate and he's got one wicked jaw on him. That thing opens and closes. That is fantastic, and it works great. He has some nice rotation in the arms. He even has bicep swivel. Nothing in the joints as far as the elbows, but he will kick out. He's got a waist, and he's got single-jointed knees, and it works well with standing him, especially the tail. It does add in helping him to stand a foot, just because, yeah, he gets
little bit top heavy with that whole jacket going on. His whole deal is a big steamroller, right? Big steamroller with a drill at the top. Nicely decoed. You got leaves and weeds and greens and purples and goops and all kinds of stuff amidst all the technology that I'm sure Kurt Cotter's built all by himself. But you attach it to him and it looks great. It actually very imposing. You know, you can steamroll anybody. And he has this little missile at the top. It's more of a drill missile, but it doesn't spring load or do anything. It just kind of fits in the top of his gear. And if you want to go ahead and shoot it at somebody, let's try this again. Here we go, and go. Yeah, you get the idea. It's more of a you push it yourself sort of deal. But you know what? Just steamroll Daredevil. That's the best way to do it. Always, right? With these things, I never luck out with the projectiles. Really cool lizard. Glad to finally have him in my collection after many years. Highly recommend him. And now we come to the figure that I could not wait for this wave. The Tank Attack Daredevil. You know, Daredevil, he's always associated with tanks and blindness. The articulation on this guy was great. He was a gorgeous bright red. I really dug that. Even though in the animated series, he had a lot of shadow on him, he was this red, but they used the darks, sort of like X-Men, the animated series, the heavy blacks and such. Shoulder articulation, head rotated, single jointed elbows. He had some waist articulation as well, could do the splits, kick out, knees, and he had some feet articulation as well. So it was nice to see. I mean, you can see all the little joints and everything else, they do stand out. But I just love the colors on this guy, the logo on his chest, his eyes. It just came out great. His little accessory is a spider tank missile launcher thingy. Yeah, it looks... I mean, the cleverness and the ingenuity in this were always very cool. It does break into a few different pieces, and it forms to be a tank or whatever, and then you clip them all onto him. And I'm sure getting around the city is fantastic, even as a missile launcher, which... Let's see if we can do this. Here we go. You aim it at the lizard and press the fire button right on top, and no. It never fails. Just throw there you go. Throw the spider at him and kick the lizard in the face. There you go. This would be so cumbersome to wear. It's like he's blind and everybody's messing with him. Like, yeah, dude, it looks really, really good on you. I mean, heck, even Bullseye's laughing at him. Otherwise, it's cool, it's different, it's 90s, it's totally a Tank Attack Daredevil. Which then finally leaves us with our final figure of the wave, the Web Swamp Spidey. A one that I didn't really look at in the packaging, but having him now, he's interesting looking. His accessory is kind of like a makeshift swamp boat, complete with propeller and water blasters and everything else. He himself looks like a symbiote, to be quite honest with you. It looks very venomous. He could fit right in with your other symbiotes in the collection. He does look cool. Big red goopy thing on the front of him. I guess you would say swamp. If anything, almost Swamp Thing, Man-Thing-ish, right? Just kind of, sort of. Interesting articulation on him. He does have those annoying joints in the thighs, but he is painted nicely, and he's totally different. He's got single-jointed elbows. His head will rotate. It's kind of stuck a little bit. It'll make it work. And then he kind of kicks out. He's kind of have like the female articulation that they used to do back in the day with single-jointed knees. And he's cumbersome. He's weird. But it fits with this particular type of figure, I think. The little swamp boat, it's cool. As you can see, it's missing one piece. Again, like Webcopter's Commando Spidey, missing a piece. But it's okay. One day I'll have it back again. But little propeller will spin. Nicely designed. It's cool. It's that armor that we used to get with the weirdo Spider-Mans and Batmans and everything else back in the day. And like all the armors of this wave, it does fit on him. And it fits nicely. And it actually looks good. I think out of all the weird stuff, this one actually fits overall. You squeeze the two little sides there, the two little turret gun looking things, and it would actually squirt water. So it's a perfect bath time toy for back in the 90s, right? So interesting toy. Highly recommend him if you can get him. And much like this entire wave, that sort of just wraps it up. All I can say for this is interesting, and they tried something new. And maybe it didn't land, maybe it did, but for me as a kid, being confused and going, okay, I don't need all this kind of stuff. I'll go with Daredevil and be good. But again, having them now, looking at them, playing with them, They're wild. And I totally recommend if you can get them. Web Force 1997 by Toybiz. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Comment below, let me know. Let's talk everything Spider-Man the animated series. And I got a few more waves on the way. Just kind of finish it out. Yeah, it's going to be great. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food. But most importantly, remember, just the poor web Commando Spidey. He's trying, isn't he? And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.